Good morning or good afternoon, depending where you are. So it's interesting keeping up with all of the coasts. So today we're going to talk about team models. Before we start, does anyone have a clear idea of what their team model actually is?
I would say I
No.
do.
What's
It
that?
depends on, I would say I probably do. It depends on how, like, are you thinking the financial model or the help model?
Um, I don't know. Like when you think of your team, how is it structured? Is it a team? Is it a brokerage?
I'll answer for us. We're a team in a brokerage. So
Well, I think we're all in a brokerage, right? So we agree on that.
I it's a team, but I do tend to think about it a little bit more like a mini company.
And what do you feel makes it a mini company?
Well, part of what makes it a mini company is that we were an independent company before joining Compass, and I think that mindset kind of translate. So to me, and I'm not sure 100% that I speak for the whole team, I kind of still see the structure of our identity, even though it goes really well with the mentality and the mindset of Compass. I still see us as a unit that is somewhat in itself a company.
Got it. So as we go through this today, I'm going to encourage you all to start aligning on a model. So we're going to workshop this before I give you all the answers because I want you to actually think through this. What is the difference between a true team and something that operates, I would say, as like a mini brokerage or a company?
Clearly defined roles.
A clearly defined role should be uniform throughout all of them.
Culture.
What's
Some
that?
Culture.
Culture? Okay, yes, that could be independently different. What else?
somehow I would feel that the word team in itself, the identification as team, seems to be more supportive than company.
Well, yes and no, right? So think about it. Support at Compass is defined, right?
Okay.
All right, we're gonna all figure this out together because we have a lot of really smart people here.
I'm just going to sort of comment. There is a team, I'm going to call it, in our office that has 50 to 80 people.
Wow.
To me, that should be their own brokerage.
Well, they're a brokerage within a brokerage, right?
Right. And they have a very different business model than 99% of the other Compass agents.
Yeah.
And what is their business model?
Zillow.
Got it. Which office you in?
Denver.
Okay. So business model affects it, right? What else? John Porter, what you got?
Yeah, I'll throw in. Good morning, everybody. I would say a brokerage is, in my experience, it's a bunch of agents all kind of marching to the beat of their own drum, doing their own things, having their own schedules, and just going around doing whatever individually that they want to do. Or maybe a husband and wife team is, marching to the same drum beat, but everyone within the brokerage they go to brokerage meetings, they have an overall being brought up to date of what is going on in the market and that kind of thing. Whereas a team, you should be meeting a lot more frequently, a much tighter knit group, coaching, team meetings, just using the same technology, the same platform, same CRM, having more of a cohesive approach to your real estate business, and then also networking together, doing role playing, helping out in specific situations on the fly or in the moment, when there's a problem within a transaction. You know what I mean? A much closer unified force than a brokerage.
And the winner, John Porter, right? A brokerage is a group of people that are just there for stuff. A team really is a team, right? So now let's hop into our featured presentation for the day, and we'll go through this and we'll give you all some things to think about. I'm glad one of you had the answer, because then I was really gonna get worried. And look, that is a natural leadway to our conversation, because look, if we're not clear the difference between a team and a brokerage and different business models, this shows up in our work every single day, right? So look, if you look at team models that help define roles, responsibilities, and compensation structures, right? It is really important to identify the right model for you to really optimize efficiency, profitability, because a lot of us, when we get into the numbers, like you're not really making any money. And also like what your team cohesion is, right? Like, how do people come together? If you have 5 people that think they're joining as a team, and you have 5 lone rangers that don't want to participate in anything and just kind of want to do what they want, and they're not in alignment with your brand, right? Like, so Robin, Nelson, and their team, they're going through a rebrand, right? And like, one of the things that they're looking at doing is aligning how people use their brand, how they communicate, and how they show up in the world. That is a team, right? You look at Compass, yes, they have this, the Compass 8 CEPs, which is a baseline set of values, but they offer you all stuff. They don't tell you how to show up, what to use, and you kind of like pick and choose what you want, right? So let's look at the brokerage model, right? So for Fran, who identified this, right, provides resources, training, and support. Agents pay a split or flat fee for benefits, right? Like, we have teams that I've met that do cap models, like Keller Williams. Focuses on individual agent autonomy with brokerage level support. Do you guys all get that part? Advantages, it's access to resources, lower upfront costs for agents. Challenges, limited collaboration between agents. So raise your hand, or if you're blacked out on the screen, write yes if you want a kumbaya team model. I'm just gonna say, Robin, you better raise your hand. Kumbaya, right? Is there anyone here that does not want kumbaya? Well, if you want a kumbaya team model, it's not good for you, right, to have a brokerage. Then there's the eat what you kill model, right? You could have 3 agents together and they all operate underneath a shared brand, right? There's no shared expenses or commissions. Everyone pays. Focuses on individual performance. You have an entrepreneur mindset and you keep all your money. The challenge is they lack collaboration and team synergy, right? And in this case, some people might have a shared admin or shared resource, but it always becomes a problem because nobody, it's not like if we sell 30 homes in a year, I sell 10, Fran sells 10, Gary sells 10, there's always a problem, right? But these people do it for pooled commissions, right? Which they've started to frown upon as Compass, right? Because agents were literally getting together and forming these, what I would call vanity teams. There's nothing team about them, right? And this is a very dangerous way to operate, in my opinion, because that brand is the brand that Gary's clients see, Yvette's clients see, my clients see, Robin's clients see, John's clients see, and it could be in alignment or not in alignment with how I want to communicate my brand, my values with the world. Partnership model, right? You have 2 agents that partner and they share expenses and they split commissions. Like, you'll see 2 teams that are run 50-50. Shared responsibility, like marketing and client management. They encourage mutual support, combine expertise. And it's shared risk and expense reduction, right? Like I've a lot of people that will have two principal partners, or there'll be two agents, maybe even three, and they just share all the commissions, right? And again, if you have two people operating in partners and it's not like a true partnership, the conflicts, it goes over allocation for shared resources. And, in a partnership model, everyone should be taking a percentage of their commission and putting it on the side for actual operating expenses of the business. And now there's the model we all want, right? The kumbaya team model. It's what I find most agents at Compass want, right? It's built around shared culture and a value proposition, right? Meaning let's see, I'm just going to say the Blackstone team, since they're top of my mind. I don't know all of your team names, candidly, right? So if the Blackstone team has a group of agents, they're all, when they go on a listing pitch, they're all sharing the same value proposition, right? It should be 80-20. 80% of the experience you get on any team member should be the same. The 20% should just be the person's personality, right? You go to the Ritz-Carlton, it's the same process everywhere you go. The 20% variables, if the person has a good attitude, a bad attitude, and how they show up and communicate and engage with you, right? And everyone's working towards a common goal, right? Like as a team, all of you should have a sales volume goal that you guys all continue to work for. It's collaboration, stronger productivity amongst people, right? Like Phil Jackson said this. He's like, we are not a family, we're a team. A family is like, you love the people no matter what. A team is built on performance, and that's what you want your teams to be, right? It pushes people to higher productivity. There's clear roles, clearly defined boundaries of what you do with the staff. And look, it requires strong leadership, which could be the challenge, and clear systems, right? There are great people that are culture carriers, but you also have to realize in a team model, all of the team members are not the same, right? So kumbaya culture mixed with what's my per agent productivity, and that's who should get the most resources, is an internal conflict for a lot of people.
Value.
Yep. So comparing models, right? Brokerage model, high autonomy, brokerage resources, right? Like here's the stuff you get, you pay in your split. That's really it. Eat what you kill, independent, self-reliable, partnership, collaborative, shared cost, team model, unified, and goal-driven. Which model do you want?
Team model.
I think is there anyone here that doesn't want a team model? Tracy, what do you got?
Sorry, I've got a speaker problem here, but in the team model, which seems like this is funneling towards, obviously, but you've got, the way you set it up, you're going to have listing agents, you're going to have buyer's agents, etc. And if that doesn't really fit your culture or the direction you're wanting to go or your marketplace, which it doesn't fit us, I don't think that's a good option.
Well, actually, no. I will. You have to hit mute. All right. I will say, you don't have to have like a dedicated buyer's agent, a dedicated listing agent, right? It comes to the value proposition and how they communicate being part of your team, right? It doesn't matter if your team structure, right? Because we're talking about model, not structure. If your model is a team model, right? They're all there for the same goals. They align with the values. They want to show up and pitch your value proposition in the way that the team envisions it, right? They have roles. You could be a buyer. You could just be a sales agent on the team, right? And they take advantage of the resources, but there's an alignment on the way they do business and what is offered to them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That makes more sense. I guess then why put it down that way that you're going to have buyer's agents and listing agents if that's not really the case? You can do it whichever way you want.
Yeah, we put clearly defined roles. I didn't mean to have that interpretation of it. Like a clearly defined role means you're a team leader, you're a staff member, you're a sales agent, right? There's not this ambiguity of what people do, right? Some people have defined roles, some people don't have defined roles. But the great part about real estate is you can do it as the way you see fit and that works in your marketplace, right? I would say the biggest thing about teams is unified goals, right? And also collaboration, culture, and alignment around your value proposition, right? So if I'm there, what's the name of your team?
Me, Tracy, that's Panache.
Okay, so if I'm part of the Panache team, I need to pitch the Panache team in the way that's taught to me of sharing the benefits and the unique value proposition of the Panache team, right? Now, if I want to go take parts of your thing, parts of Compass, and go under the Panache team name and just make up whatever I want, well, that's more like a brokerage model, right? So it's finding people that align with what being on your team means to you.
That makes more sense. I think the part about the listing buyers agent split, and I've heard that a lot traditionally when people build teams, people are designated in one of those roles. And that kind of took me off in the other direction.
No, actually, the people that say that completely does not make sense because the majority of people in real estate that actually sell real estate sell buyers and sellers. There's not like, and even if it's 80-20, they're not giving up 20% of their other side of the business, right? Like there could be a buyer today, in 3 years, it could be a seller. What are they gonna say? I'm sorry, I'm only a buyer's agent. Talk to Ryan, he's a listing agent here. That's just really not commonly how things are done.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So look, factors to consider: team size and goals. Like, what are your leadership capabilities, desired level of collaboration versus autonomy, right? And your market and business strategy. These are all filters that you want to put choosing your model, right? And I think for me, the most important one is collaboration versus autonomy. That's really what it comes down to. If you have people that want to march to the beat of their own drum, I'm just here for what I want to take out of the buffet bar, and I'm not really here for the meal and the presentation, like that doesn't really work. Right? So look, having the right team model sets all of the agents on your team up for success. They always say one rotten apple can spoil the bunch. That's how fast it is for culture. I've had literally teams almost lose their entire team because one person staged a coup. And that's why when we talk about the team meetings and resharing your value proposition, every meeting you have, like, hey, let's see, Yvette used our lead program and went to coaching, and this is what she had happened. Yvette, share your win. It's reinforcing what they're getting from the team and that they should be using it too, because it's like peer-led inspiration is the best way to get other people to do things, right? It's like also the ability for you to align with your vision and values, right? Like, what do you want to create for your life, right? Like building a team in the beginning was exciting and fun, and you had a vision, right? Now, it did not turn into running like an all expense, all inclusive paid adult daycare center. That's not what you were here to do, right? And look, and you have to invest in building long-term systems because it's the only way to sustain long-term growth paired with culture. So now we're going to open this up to questions because, as Tracy pointed out, right, there's a lot of things in team building that aren't really clear, right? And so the nice part about this group is, and we found even from the first quarter, is we've had really good conversations. Cassandra?
So in this alignment of collaboration and unified goals, what I realized, my team is an 8-people team, but I find that some agents naturally work well together, like mini teams almost, and others not so much. And that's something I personally struggle with a lot because I try to keep the whole thing kind of gelling together, but there's like these mini groups that are forming sometimes.
So what's the question?
Well, the question is that scary? Is that bad? Or is that something that's okay?
It's okay, right? Like if I'm on a team of 8 people and I like practicing with you and I like sharing listings with you, that's a sign of strong culture and relationships, right? We can't ever tell people like you and John can't be friends, right? Like,
Okay.
and so for you, the part that you'll want to focus on is consistently like in your team meetings, having people share the wins from being on your team. Because eventually what happens with all these people like, just like agents at Compass, right? You guys all come here, like people might give you an incentive or something like that. You use it to grow your business and now you want more and you forget that it was the incentive and the support that helped get you there. And the whole point of helping you get there is so that you can be independent or the company can make money, right? Team agents have like amnesia as you help them grow their business substantially. Now they're like, well, we want more of a split because we're doing better. Well, no, the whole point of us building you up to do better was that the company over time made more money off. Fran?
So what I think we really need help with is hiring the right people. The team started initially, it's my son Josh, who's been in the business 20 years. I've been in the business 35. My daughter-in-law joined us a few years ago, and she lives in a mountain community an hour and a half, 2 hours from Denver. So she does business there. We did add a fourth member, and I would tell you it was more for collaboration, and we really helped her split. Having said that, we need someone that is all the things you've talked about. We've interviewed people, and I always say to them, what are you going to bring to us? And none of them can answer it. They're all looking for what they can get from us, which is all of our marketing. We do a ton of drop-bys marketing, custom swag, etc. They want what they can get from us, but nobody seems to be able to tell us what they're going to bring to us. How do we, I mean, I'm just sort of stuck, and it's not like we want a huge team. We would add 1 or 2 people at most.
So here's the question, right? Purpose, right? What is the purpose of a team member? And I think there's only 3 purposes that people can have on a team. Number 1 is that you have so much business. Well, actually, no, I think there's 2. You have so much business that you don't know what to do with it, and you need people to help service it, right? Number 2, they have a great database that through collaborating with you, you can turn it into business. So outside of those 2 purposes, like what is the purpose for somebody joining your team? Like why the right and privilege to take up your time, your experience, your resources?
Yeah, I mean, they want all that from us, and we make it very clear they have to have their own book of business. We are not providing leads. That's what this 50-person team I talked about does. And the 2 managers in our office know that we would add the right person. And they've sent a couple people to us, but it always ends with, we have a lot to offer you. What do you have to offer us? And I'm not looking at this as, I know there are big teams where the team leads make a lot of money off of all the team members. It's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking
good profit. Don't feel guilty about like making money is not a crime, right? There's nothing illegal about it. It's not sanctioned. It's not something it's mutually exclusive for only some people. So look, I think what you need to build out is an avatar, right? This is the ideal things that the person that would get the most out of the resources we have and what they'd have to offer us, right? So like, if you don't know who you're looking for, you'll end up with anyone, right? So the whole point of identifying all these things is building out different filters. Right?
Are you at some other session going to talk about the different splits and the way people?
We have a whole recruiting session with a questionnaire and everything that you
Okay.
can do.
All right, perfect. Okay, yep. I'll look forward to it. Thank you.
Look, these are the right, like, look, these are some of my favorite sessions to do because they're great group discussions, right? And I think every time, like, I don't know, I find the difference between these conversations versus sometimes like the ones in the buyer and seller. Some of the conversations are just hijacked and they're so personal that no one can learn from it. It's like a one-on-one coaching session, right? Where everything that anyone shares here, I think is applicable to everybody, right? Like, what does somebody offer me? That's a great thing to start with, right? And my challenge to you is like, who is your ideal client, right? So look, if you want to do this now, right, go into ChatGPT and say, here's my team, here's what I offer. I'm struggling with identifying what are the things that somebody should offer us. Ask me questions one by one till you can help me define this problem. And literally, if you do that, you'll sit there and it works.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
I think that was a great, Fran. I don't think I've ever asked anyone, what do you bring to us? It's always like, here's what we give you. Does this sound good? Do you like the sound of this? So I've never asked that, and now I will think about it.
Oh, I'm glad I provided someone help. I need more.
Nelson, what do you got?
I wrote to the group, we're struggling with focusing on just upper tier agents versus the combination of building up lower tier agents with the higher tier.
Well, they're
Yeah.
two different groups of people, right? But here's the
Yeah,
thing.
two very groups, and I'd like to know if what everybody else does. I mean, because obviously we put a whole lot of effort into growing young agents up through the system.
Where is your profitability, right? Like, just because they're top agents, right? You have to look at the numbers, right? And the second part is you guys can put all your team members through our coaching programs, right? I don't care how much money or how advanced they are. I guarantee you they don't know from start to finish and have really polished like end-to-end sales experience,
Yep.
right? So putting them all through that together will lead to a better outcome, right? And then in one-on-ones, asking the high-tiered agents, like, how can we best support you in growing your business, and see what they say. You're going to find people that live in reality and gratitude, and you're going to find other people that are just batshit crazy. Cassandra?
And yeah, I wanted to Nelson's question. I try to encourage the more experienced, higher producing agents to delegate to somebody that's just learning in a way that both benefit, right? So the higher tier agent gets relief from some things that a lower tier agent can do, while that agent learns from that agent. Doesn't always work, but that's what I try to do.
And so now the danger in that is they start thinking, oh, like I can do this on my own, right? Like, so just stick all of your agents and make them either go to the buyer track, the seller track, and the prospecting track, and make the people that have the similar interest in their business go through it together. And at the end of the session, for people going through it together, it's a group share. Hey, here's my takeaway. The second thing is like, what am I going to practice, and what are we all going to hold each other accountable to? You want them to hold themselves accountable with each other. They're not your kids. You do not, like, I think people, I'm coaching the entire Origin Point mortgage bank with Compass, right? And they go, Shrug, we really need like the accountability for them. I'm like, they're not freaking kids, they're adults. Like, that's not your job, right? Like, your job is to give them information that they could use and not make it confusing, right? So if I give you a script on how to pre-qualify people, it's your job to use it. I can't sit there, right? Cassandra, like, this is really going to make a big difference in your business. And I really think you should, like, if you find yourself selling these people into doing things to help themselves, major red flag.
Very good point. Thank you for that.
All right, we have time for one more question.
I have more of a comment than a question, but I want to say it's scary and comforting at the same time, because I think we have dealt with, Gary, my business partner, and I have dealt with every single thing mentioned so far, from the coups to the, you name it. So looking forward to, and I know it's inevitable in certain things that you're going to approach and deal with situations, but just looking forward to developing the better way to respond, to identify early maybe of someone who's a potential coup leader, things like that, in shaping our team and in our proposition, our value proposition, and clearly defining those things and implementing, because I'm picking up the undertones of going back and reestablishing those in each meeting and sharing the wins and kind of shifting the culture, because we do have little micro groups, like Cassandra was talking about, where they click up within the team, and we're in 2 different markets. So You guys have, through everybody commenting today and questions asked and comments made, you've touched on like almost everything that we deal with. So just looking forward to growing in all these areas.
Dude, by the way, you guys all should be talking to each other, and like, I don't like bitch sessions or vent sessions, right? But like talking through, hey, I have an agent do this, I have an agent do that. Look, I will tell you the number one red flag in people at stage coups, they have like too much autonomy. They think they're bigger than the brand. They're not there for everything. Their success has gone to their head, literally like somebody, like they're a balloon and somebody put a pin in them, and instead of like pumping them up like this, it's like a helium tank, right? They don't want to follow the directions and systems that people give them, like red flag, right? Like, here's who I am, here's how I work. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, great, but this is not the right place for you. Do not move that line.
Right.
We don't negotiate standards.
By the way, he just described it to a T of what they act like.
Not my first rodeo. I've been, my brand was built on helping people grow and scale like the top teams at Compass from when I worked here. I have seen everything. Like at this point, there's nothing I've heard in the last 2 years that's not been different than I heard in the 5 years before. It's the same stuff everywhere you go. And I don't blame any of you, right? Because it's not like everyone like is like, yeah, start a team, start a team, start a team. But it's like, wait a second, how do you define your value proposition? How do you build profitable splits? How do you define your values and culture? How do you pick the right model? What's the right There's a lot of stuff within here, right? And like being a great sales agent, being a great team leader cannot be two more different things. And Yvette, you're the luckiest one out of everyone because you're starting from scratch.
I know, I just am overwhelmed and I don't know how to do it. So it's just no matter how I keep trying to wrap my brain around it, I can't. So it's difficult.
So here's what I want you to do. Connect with people in this group. I don't think anyone will object to it. And ask them this question. What are the 1 to 3 things you wish you knew in the beginning when you started your team? And learn from everyone else's challenges. And I would encourage all of you to do that, right? Like, there's no reason that people in here shouldn't be getting into small groups and workshopping ideas and stuff. Since everybody identified, we all want a kumbaya model. Hey, here's what's working. Here's the challenge that I have with people. And you guys should have a regular meeting outside of this. So if anyone wants to connect, Laura, are you still here?
Hey, Chirag, yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I have to jump out, but like, if any of you want to stay on, Laura, let's keep this open for another like 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay.
And anyone that wants to share information, organize a call for themselves outside of this, one person needs to step up and be the organizer and the leader. And then you guys all should get on and have like a little bit of agenda, right? Talking about what's working now, what are challenges, and you guys all should meet. This is my suggestion, 1 time a week for 45 minutes outside of here and just talk about what's working and challenges. And you'll realize that you guys all have the same challenges. You just live at different addresses and sell in different zip codes.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yep.
Chirag, is there a master list? I mean, there's 15 of us on today. I know there were more last week.
We'll start with this group.
Okay, perfect.
Right. And then I'll work on it with whoever elects themselves to be the leader and the organizer. There's one person I know here that does this really well.
Oh.
They're now shaking their head.
I feel you're looking at me.
Yep, 100%. You're one of the most organized humans I've ever met. All you have to do is like just have everyone email you and then just pick a day and a time, right? Like, and whoever can come at that day and time can come. It's not a matter of things. Look, you might miss the first week, but here's the thing: when things are important, you fit them in your schedule.
Yeah,
Totally agree.
I put my email in the chat, so if anyone wants to reach out.
Robin is one of the
Thank
most
you.
organized humans you'll ever meet on earth.
Oh,
Thank you,
God.
Chirag.
Yep.
That is
Of course,
totally
Nelson already left, so now you don't even, he doesn't even.
Well, Nelson wanted in. He's like, I have to go, but I want in. So I'm gonna drop off. Laura will keep this open. Just put your email in the chat. Laura, let's get her the chat and we're good to go. All right, everybody. I'll leave this
Thanks,
open.
Chirag.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, guys, I'm happy to, yeah, if you want to just put your email in the chat, I can do it, or if you want to email me separately.
Putting the email in right now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan.
And Laura, you can get me this so I don't have to write it all down.
Yeah, I'll just email you the chat transcript.
Okay. Awesome, thank you.
All right, I'll let you guys have a couple more minutes to throw your emails in there and then I'll shut it down.
Okay.
All right, I'm hopping on another meeting, everybody. Thank you. See you next week.
Thanks, bye
Thank
guys.
you.